Okay, let's find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. I'm gonna sit cross-legged on my blanket. You could sit in any way that feels good. And it is summertime, or pretty close anyway. The solstice is next weekend, so I think we can call it, especially if it's very warm where you are. So, our practice today will be as much as it is letting go of stress, it'll also be getting us prepared to start letting go of the heat so that we can manage as the heat rises, the humidity rises, we can manage to get it out of our bodies. So let's take the heels of the hands to the upper thighs, a little press down, lean forward. We've also been playing around with using the fists instead of the heels of the hands, especially if using the heels of the hands causes any strain, stress in the wrist itself. Little press down, lean forward, and then side to side, right? All these little actions just help us get a little more information about what is happening in our bodies today. Mm-hmm. Gorgeous. And then coming to neutral a couple of times, sliding the heel of the hand from the hip towards the knee. Maybe you've been walking more. A lot of people I've been hearing and seeing pictures, they're hiking, they're doing all these outdoor activities that we don't do as much of in the winter. So it's possible that your body is having reactions to that, right? And by reactions, I just mean maybe muscle soreness, joint tenderness, anything like that. Next time the hands slide over the kneecaps, hold on and lift yourself up nice and tall. Now there's a tendency here to let the abdomen fall forward. Instead, what I want you to do is kind of do that zipping up, buttoning up action that we've talked about in the past. Kind of like you're putting on jeans that just came out of the dryer. And then while maintaining that little bit of firmness, that slight bit of engagement through the abdominal wall, we'll start to take the torso around in circles. And these don't need to be big, they don't need to be fast. I actually find it very helpful to close the eyes here. And so if you feel safe and comfortable to close the eyes, please go ahead and do it, going inside. And then on an exhalation, go ahead and change direction. So now you're going the opposite direction with your circles, noticing if it's the same, different, right? Always with that curiosity. That's part of what yoga affords us, is the curiosity to our bodies. How are things going? Right? Always trying to explore, I guess. All right, next exhalation, change directions again. Going the other way one more time. And then one last time, change directions, but start to go slower, smaller, slower, smaller, until eventually you're going so slow, so small, that outside of you, people could look at you and they would say, she, they, him, her, not doing anything, right? They're not doing anything. But inside, you feel this tiny little residue of your revolution, this tiny little internal moment. And then even that comes to stillness. Relax the shoulders, lift and spread the collarbones. Palms of the hands could slide back on the thighs. And if you are feeling warm in your space today, you might turn the palms of the hands upright so that you can kind of air out any heat that could be released there. Elbows hanging heavy at the sideways, tailbone heavy towards the earth. Balancing the skull on top of the spine. Maybe there's little head dips forward, back, side to side. Maybe there's a little isolated circle up in the head region. Whatever you need to do to find yourself in what feels like your center. Relaxing the jaw, the teeth, the tongue, softening the cheekbones, the bridge of the nose, the eyes and their sockets. Smoothing out the muscles of the face, releasing the mask of personality. Softening the inner ears and coming to the breath. Noticing that you're breathing. Right, and if you have been dealing with overwhelming situations or stressful situations, having the opportunity to come to the breath and just be there. Be internal. Be with the inhalation, exhalation. There's nothing else required. There's nothing else that you need to concern yourself with in this moment. And perhaps it's the coming back to the breath in every moment that allows you to find that peace of mind. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart, palm against palm, fingers elongated. Lift the sternum to the base of the thumbs, broaden the collarbones. Let's prepare for sound. Chanting the sound of Om 3 times, and then we'll invocate. Go ahead, exhale fully, let go of all the breath you currently have, and then inhale fully to begin. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahai, Tejasvina Vaditamastu, Ma Vidvashavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, let the chin surrender towards the heart. Let the mind surrender towards the emotional body, towards the heart space. Take a full breath here, investigating how is it. And then releasing the hands towards the lap. Start to flutter the eyelids open, taking in form and color and space and shape. And then on an inhale, raise the gaze and look out, right? We've been practicing this for several weeks now, looking out of the windows, if you have them nearby, looking out into your room, looking at art, something beautiful. And then eventually coming back to our space. Let's help the knees up, extend the legs. We're going to start out with some Supta Padangusthasana variations. So let's set up. I'd like you to have a blanket for the head. Perhaps that's the same blanket you were sitting on. And then have 2 blocks nearby, one on either side. And have your strap nearby. And then come to lay down with me. Head and neck relaxed. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor for now. Let's take the head a little side to side. Relaxing the back of the neck, the base of the skull. And sometimes just the laying down, and this is something to remember, like if it feels really good to you when you lay down on the floor, you don't need someone else to tell you to do that in your day-to-day, right? You can just lay down on the floor whenever you want. I mean, maybe not at the grocery store. Although, wouldn't that be hilarious? Maybe I probably won't do that, but that would be very funny. All right, bringing the head back to neutral. Let's exhale that right knee in towards the chest. Relax the shoulders. If you need to hold behind the thigh for the knee, please do it. Foot is lightly flexed. Bring the chin towards the chest. Just a few breaths here, softening the back of the knee, softening the inner groin. Relaxing the gluteal muscle.
And then exhale, release the foot to the floor. We'll do the second side, drawing that left knee in towards the chest. And again, you're holding on either over the shin or behind the thigh. Soften the shoulder blades down to the floor. I don't know about you, but as soon as I gather that knee up, it's like my shoulders have to come forward. So it's a little bit of a reminder, right? Let them go back and down. They don't necessarily need to curl in to be useful here. Another deep inhale, full exhale. And then release the foot to the floor. So now we're going to extend the legs. And what I'd like you to do is to bring the backs of your heels to their respective edges of the mat. And I ended up off my mat, but I can kind of see. All right, so if I was really being good about it, my right heel would be on the right side of my mat. My left heel would be on the left side of the mat. And if I'm still on my mat, and hopefully you are, the center of the heel is kind of intersected by the edge of the mat. It's not a perfect science. It doesn't matter if it's absolutely right. Just do what you can do. And then have your blocks on either side of your hip. And just pause for a moment. We're reaching through the inner heel. And I'm trying to be really precise with the back of my heel. And if I do that and I can use my hand to lift my head to look, then my toes are pointed right up towards the sky, right? My inner thighs are a little heavy, and then I can release my head back down. And then we're going to repeat wind pose on that first side. So now the left leg is extended. It's going to stay there. You're going to exhale, draw the right knee in. This might be a very different experience than the bent knee variation we just did a moment ago. And you're holding on over the shin or behind the thigh, same as you did before. The foot is lightly flexed. The shoulders are relaxing down and back. Nice. And then I'm going to find my strap and I'm going to scoop up my right foot and extend it up towards the sky. And just for giggles, let's put both sides of the strap in the left hand and use our right hand. And you might be using the heel of the hand, or if your wrist is feeling tender today, you could just use your fist. Pushing the head of that femur bone away, 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 yawning open the back of the knee, getting maximum space there. And then both straps go into the right hand. Left arm can go out to the left side of the room. Palm of the hand faces down. We inhale for length, and then we exhale, taking that leg out and down to the side. The block is in just the right spot. If it's not, you move it. Meanwhile, bring your mind's eye back to the back of that left heel. Is it still centered on the mat? Can you still feel the center of the heel determined and down? Pressing the back of that left leg into the ground, drawing the right upper arm bone into the shoulder socket. And then we're rolling the outer left ribs down towards the floor as the right side of the lower abdomen intends towards that inner right thigh. Move your tailbone any amount towards that inner left heel and then soften off 10%. Relax back 10%. Soften the jaw, the teeth, the tongue. Long, full, steady inhale, complete exhalation. Take another breath. Just make sure you're present. And then on the exhale, we bring that leg back up to neutral. We can spread the straps out between both hands. Take the leg a little towards you, a little away. A little towards you, a little away. Then release it, and we're extending that right leg back to where it was. So we're trying to bring it over to the right side of the mat, trying to line up the center of the heel with the edge of the mat, pressing the center of the heel firmly down, and then lengthen the back of the neck and take a couple of breaths here in neutral, just observing right side, left side. Noticing how things are starting to shift. Relax your toes. Sometimes we can get very serious about the toes in these positions. I don't want you to overdo. All right, second side, right leg stays where it is. We exhale the left knee into the chest, either holding on over the shin or behind the thigh, shoulders relax. Maybe the same thing happens to you. As soon as I grab my knee, both my shoulders wrap towards each other. Calm down, shoulders. Lengthen the back of the neck, take another breath. And then let's scoop up our foot. Scoop it up, strap is on the ball of the foot, and we lengthen the leg up towards the sky. Might be a very different scenario than the first side. That's okay. Back of the hip is heavy. Let's put both sides of the strap in the right hand. Use the heel of the left hand or the fist, right? The left knuckles to push the head of the femur bone away as you pull the foot towards you, really getting loads of length here. Loads of length. Then both straps into the left hand. Right arm reaches out to the right. Palm is down. Inhale. Exhale, left leg's going out and down to the left. Hopefully that block is right where you need it. I ran into a wall. No problem if you run into a wall, you just use it. I'm pressing my outer left foot into the wall. No big deal. It works out just fine. And then let's work. Okay, so is the back of that right heel still pressing down? My right foot had turned out while I was distracted with the left leg. Same thing could have happened to you. Inner thigh is heavy. Pressing the back of the leg down, that helps me to lengthen the back of the neck. Tailbone directed towards that inner right heel. And then lower abdomen, so belly button down, that goes towards that inner left thigh. You might feel the left leg get a little longer. And then from belly button up, that rolls towards the right. Those outer right ribs might come a little closer to the floor. And then we're breathing. Right? I keep thinking about what Annie said. One of the things she learned at the Iyengar conference when she was there was that we tend to ignore the instruction at the end of each pose on Light on Yoga where we take 6 full breaths in the pose. That's that invitation to stay, to observe. Right? And Iyengar even said that towards the, later part of his life. He said, I used to play, now I stay. So interesting. All right, one more deep inhale. And then as you exhale, let's bring that leg back up to neutral. Spread the straps out between both hands. Take the leg a little towards you, a little away, a little towards you, a little away. Then exhale, release the foot. We're bringing it back to where it started out. Arms to the side, chin towards the chest, inner heels heavy. Just a few breaths here in neutral, observing. Nice. Then we're going to take the legs into Baddha Konasana. So I bend the knees one at a time. I bring the soles of the feet together and I let the knees come out to the side. And in my body, it feels better to have medium blocks. So I turn them to medium and I put them on their edge. And I let the knees fall out into those blocks. You might be using flat blocks, you might be using different supports, it's totally fine. Take a breath here. It can feel good in the body to give yourself a little traction, much like we press on the upper thighs in the beginning of class. You can take the heels of your hands to the upper thighs here and push away. Give yourself a little bit of traction in the low back. And again, if using the heels of the hands didn't feel good, I could absolutely use my knuckles. And then we're going to release that, leaving the left leg right where it is in Baddha Konasana. We're going to scoop that right knee up and draw the right knee into the chest. Lightly flex the foot. So we've approached wind pose from 3 different variations. And we'll approach our Supta Pada here as well. So use your strap, scoop up the right foot, and then you'll have to move your right block in towards the outer hip because we are going to take the lateral variation here. So the left leg is in Baddha Konasana. And now as you put both straps into the right hand, reaching the left arm out to the left, you're going to inhale, lengthening, exhale, take the right leg out and down to the right. So left leg in Baddha Konasana, right leg in Supta Padangusthasana. Right? Getting lots of space. This is excellent to release heat from the body. We tend to release heat most easily from the places where the skin on our body is thinnest, and that's the armpits and the groins. So anything we can do to broaden is going to help to cool us down. One more inhale here. And then as you exhale, bringing the leg back to neutral, bending the knee. We're touching Baddha Konasana again, so soles of the feet together. I have to adjust the block on the right-hand side so that I have the same support on both sides. It's very important. when you're in a symmetrical pose like Baddha Konasana, that both of your knees are supported the same. Relax the jaw. Take another full cycle of breath here. Nice. And then scooping up that left knee, drawing the left knee into the chest. This is a good place to adjust where your block is. Again, holding on over the shin or behind the thigh, lightly flexing the foot. So now the right knee is in Baddha Konasana, the left knee is in Pavanmuktasana, wind pose. Shoulders are relaxed, back of the neck is long. Nice. And then we're going to scoop that foot up with the strap, extend the leg towards the sky, take a pause. So interesting to observe the body's reactions when we're in these different shapes. Both sides of the strap go into the left hand, right arm reaches out to the right. Inhale to get long, exhale, take that left leg out and down to the left. Plug the upper left arm bone into the shoulder socket. Keep the tailbone moving towards the back of the right heel. Breathe into the spaciousness of the pelvis, the abdomen, the upper chest. Soften the throat and the eyes. One more full inhale here. Exhale, draw that leg back up to neutral, and then bend the knee. Bring yourself back into your Baddha Konasana. Again, pause. Let's take the hands to the lower frontal ribs. Close the eyes if it feels safe and comfortable to do so, and take several breaths here. Just allowing yourself to inhabit this space. Then scooping the knees together, let's draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug, a little rocking from side to side. Release any tension that might have started to accumulate into the low back. And then hands on the bent knees. We're steering the two bent knees around in a circle. A few times in one direction, a few times in the other. Bringing the feet to the floor. You only need one block now, so if you want to put the other one to the side, you absolutely can. We played with this abdominal work a couple of weeks ago, and I found it really interesting in how it approaches the intrinsic nature of our abdominal core. So if we think about kind of our core-sitting muscles going wrapping around from back to front on both sides, and then the deeper muscles in on either side of the spine and in the core of our being. So you're going to take your flat block, it's in your right hand, draw your left knee towards you, and you're going to super glue the block to the inner knee. So I am pressing my right hand into the block, pressing the block into my inner knee. At the same time, I am pressing my inner knee into the block, into the hand. So there's this sandwiching that's happening between the knee, the hand, and the block. Back of the neck is nice and long. You might find it helpful to take your left hand to the left side of the mat and pull the mat away, as if you're trying to pull the mat towards the foot end of your mat. Draw the navel towards the spine. It is very much like you're trying to press your lumbar spine into the earth. Again, think of that corseting, that wrapping around from back to front. Beautiful. Then from here, I want you to extend your right leg, and some of you are going to extend the leg up towards the sky, right? That's a little bit easier. Others are going to extend the leg forward towards the wall in front of them. Nice. And then you're pressing the hand into the inner knee into the hand. And then it's very much like a crisscross. So you're going to draw the extended leg and the knee towards each other, and the thighs might even cross. And then you're going to open them away from each other. Right? So towards each other and away from each other. Navel to spine, pubic bone to belly button. You might be holding on to the side of the mat with the left hand. And you might have the right leg up towards the sky, and that would mean that the legs come into each other and then apart, right? They're going to touch at some point, perhaps. Others, the leg is extended, maybe even parallel to the floor. Both feet lightly flexed, breathing. And then if you're like, boy, Veronica, I really wish this was harder, well, then you would take your left hand behind the back of your head and lift up. Breathing, breathing. Navel to spine, pubic bone to belly button. Crossing and opening, crossing and opening. Whew, and then let the head come down. If it's up, take that block now across the fronts of your shins. Press your shins into your block into your shins, and rock a little side to side. Soften the jaw. Relax everything. Nice full breath. And then coming back to neutral. Let's try that on the second side. So I'm letting the left foot come to the floor for now as I get set up. Block against the inner right knee. So I've got my left hand on the block, block on the inner right knee pressing into the block, into my left hand. Foot is lightly flexed, back of the neck is long, and I can absolutely take hold of the side of the mat with my right hand and pull the mat in the direction of my feet. That's really going to help me keep my lumbar spine engaged. So think about taking on your corset and cinching it up. Tailbone is long, back of neck is long. Okay, and for some of us, this is a lot of work already, and that's fine. This might even be where you stay. Boy, do I wish I had said that on the first side. No, it's okay. From here, we're extending the left leg either up towards the sky, and that's a great place to start, right? It's going to be the easiest. And then you slowly start to challenge yourself by lowering it slower and lower and lower until maybe it's parallel to the floor. And then we're taking the legs away from each other and then towards each other. And if the legs can cross, you let them cross. Open, close. Navel to spine. You're in charge of the intensity. And then maybe, just maybe, you decide to tuck your hand behind the back of your head and lift your upper torso away from the floor. Soften the jaw. Navel to spine. Gorgeous. Exhale, release. Flat block across the fronts of the shins, a little rocking from side to side. Good job. Now let's place our block to the side, hands on the bent knees, and we're going to steer the knees around in a circle, a few times in one direction, a few times in the other. And then last but not least, feet come to the floor as wide as the mat, arms go out in a T shape. Let's let both knees go to the left as the head goes to the right. Take a full breath over here on the side, and then switch sides. Linger there on the side, and then let's do one more time on either side. Beautiful. Last side. And rolling all the way over. Finding your table pose. If you need padding for the knees, please feel free to take it. Right? Maybe you've got a blanket underneath the knees. For some reason you can't be on the knees, you could always do this all with the feet on the floor and the hands on the seat of a chair. But we're coming into table pose. Do a little cat and cow just to release the spine. Inhaling, lifting tailbone. Exhale, reverse. Nice. Coming to neutral spine. Let's turn the tail towards the right. Turn to look over the right shoulder. Then swing the tail to the left. Turn to look over the left shoulder. Back and forth. Gorgeous. All right. From here, we're going to work on a little bit of hip stability. And so I'm going to take my two flat blocks underneath my knees, planting my hands on the floor. Okay, so I'm in table pose, but I've got my knees on blocks and my heels of hands are directly underneath my shoulders. And then I'm going to use my left knee to kind of knock that block off to the side. And I feel like we've done this one before. You're going to dip your left knee towards the floor. And then as you exhale, you're going to lift your thigh bone back into the hip socket. Right? So the knee comes down towards the earth. And then as you exhale, you're lifting that thigh bone back into the hip sockets. And the hips, the pelvis, it moves. So as I bring the knee down, the pelvis slants off to the left. And then as I lift the knee up, the pelvis slants a little to the right. You're going down and up. I like to inhale as I bring the knee down to the earth, and then exhale as I pull it back up into the sky. Now, if I didn't want to do this on hands and knees, I could absolutely do something similar with my hands on the seat of the chair and my feet on blocks. So then I would still be dipping my right leg, or rather left leg, towards the floor and then pulling it up. So if I can't be on hands and knees, I've got my right foot on the block and I'm still getting that same action in the hip, in the pelvis. Right? 2, 3 more on this side, whatever variation you're doing. Nice. And then either both feet on blocks or both knees on blocks. Take a little lean back. So if your hands are in your chair, you're just letting your hips go back. If you're here on the floor, it's a little bit like a child's pose, but like an awkward one. Gorgeous. And then we'll do the second side. So coming back forward, using your right leg to knock the right block out of the way. And then you inhale as the right leg comes towards the floor. You exhale to suck the right thigh bone back into the hip socket. Inhale to bring it down to the floor. Exhale to suck it up into the hip socket. Beautiful. So whether you're standing with the legs extended, your hands on the seat of a chair, or you're down here on your knees, it's the same. Lengthen the back of the neck. Soften the jaw, the teeth, the tongue. See if you can engage through the abdominal wall. A lot of this comes from the core muscles. 2, 3 more on this side. Beautiful. And then again, we'll take that relaxed version of child's pose with either both knees on the blocks, or if you're standing, you could even come to stand back on the floor and do your L shape, drawing the hips back, relaxing. And then from here, we're headed to downward facing dog. So if I've got my knees on blocks, I just tuck my toes under and lift up and back, and then I can use my hands to knock my blocks out of the way. If I'm using the chair, I just step off the blocks if I'm still on them, and then walk the feet back until you can do your full L shape, non-weights bearing on the arms. So everyone's reaching the inner heels down and back. Everyone can take the feet mat's distance apart, especially if that helps you get the heel bones back and down. And then I'm rolling my inner elbows up towards the front of my mat or the front of my chair, if that's what I'm using. And then I'm lifting my hips up, 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 and back, 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 getting maximum distance here. Pressing the full circumference of the palm of the hand down. Don't drop the head below the line of the bicep. Gorgeous. Nice. Think of the abdomen moving back towards the back body. Tailbone lifting up, up, up. And then Uttanasana. Walk the feet forward. Standing forward bend. Can you release the skull? Can you release the skull? Letting the back of the head hang. Nice. Maybe you're shaking the head a little no, a little yes. Letting go of the weight of the head. And then thumbs in the hip crease, hook the hips back, lengthen the spine till it's parallel to the floor, and then inhale and come to standing. Having a little technical difficulty. Nice, there we go. All right, from here, we're going to do a little bit of balance work, and I think it would be helpful to have your chair. And so I'm going to take my chair in front of me. Some of you might just be coming to the chair seat. We're going to work with the Supta Padangusthasana. I want to give a couple different options because I know we've got different people in the room. So I'm going to put a block on the seat of my chair, but I'm also going to put a blanket over the back top of my chair. Right? You may not need this. We're going to see what happens. And so depending on the happiness and health of your hips, you might just be taking your right foot to the seat of the chair to start. Others, you've got a little more space in your body. You might be able to take your right foot up on a block. How do you know? Well, if when I take my foot onto the seat of the chair, and I'm just turning so you can see, my whole pelvis lifts up to the side, that's a tendency that some bodies have. If we can't drop the outer hip, then we don't go any higher. If we can bring the foot up and we can still drop the hip, then we know we can lift the foot onto the block. So that's stage one. We've either got our foot on the seat of the chair or we've got it on the block, and we're just breathing here, right? Your weight is centered over the sole of your left foot. You're reaching through the crown of the head. Shoulder blades are down and back. Navel is back. Then we've got other options. So to extend the leg, some of you are going to need to move back, and you're just going to extend the back of your heel onto the block. Again, if the outer right hip is lifting, that's how we know we need to just use the seat of the chair. Some of you will be able to bring your foot up onto the back of the chair without the outer hip lifting. If that's you, the blanket is very useful. And then we take our strap around the ball of the foot, standing up nice and tall, navel back, outer right hip heavy. We've got that connection of foot and arm. Just touching, just tasting. Gorgeous. And then releasing the strap, I come underneath the back of the thigh to help the leg back down to the floor. And then we go to the left side. So I step a little closer to the chair, and I bring the sole of my left foot either onto the seat of the chair or onto the block. We're starting here, very similar to Padangusthasana, right? We're kind of touching a version of wind pose. I'm hooking with my left thumb, my outer left hip down to help get that hip to behave. Right thigh is back. Right thigh is back. Beautiful. Then second stage, depending on my body, I might have to step back a step if I'm taking the heel of the foot to the block or I'm taking the heel of the foot to the chair. Others, if you're taking it to the back of the chair, you probably can stay where you were. And then we're straightening the standing leg. So that right thigh needs to move to the bone. Strap goes around the left ball of foot, and we find our connection. Right thigh back, outer left hip heavy, shoulder blades down, lift and spread the collarbones. Navel to spine, even here. Are you balanced on that right foot? Big toe ball mound, outer heel. Nice. Exhale to release. Come underneath the left thigh to bring the foot to the floor. Now we can put the chair to the side, unless you need it for balance, but put the chair to the side and then make a loop in your strap. We're going to try freestanding now. No support from the chair, right? I find that most people need an armpit length strap. That's usually the distance between their arm and their hand, but you can always change it if you realize you cannot catch your foot. So, standing back to face the camera or whatever is straightforward for you. If you need support, the chair is on your left-hand side.
Shoulder blades down and back. Left leg is the standing leg, so we're firming the muscles to the bone. Big toe ball mound, outer heel, right? Big toe ball mound, outer heel. Here, I'll mirror you. So we want to firm in from the outer thigh, right? Think of the greater trochanter moving in and up. And as you do that, you might even start to feel a lightness through that right leg. And then left hand to left hip. Bend the right knee, come inside the knee to scoop the foot up with the strap, right? Navel back, lifting up, 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 and then see, could you extend the leg forward, right? We've just practiced this. Outer right hip heavy, left thigh back, navel to spine, reach, reach, reach through the crown of the head. Don't forget to breathe. If you start to fall, let go of the strap. That's a pro tip. Nice. Bending the knee, release the strap, bring the foot down. Take a little walk around your space. Let's integrate, relaxing, noticing, and then we'll prepare for the second side. So now that right leg is going to be the standing leg. Again, all the things apply. We're hugging in from the outer thigh. Notice, so just take a moment to notice when you relax, and if you're like most people, you kind of sashay into that hip, and the hip pushes out to the side, but that can even happen when we're in these standing poses. So we really have to think of drawing up, 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 of going in from that outer thigh. Nice. And then we've got the strap in our left hand, right hand to the right hip. Bend the left knee, start to pick the foot up off the floor and see, could you scoop the foot up? Pause here. It's very similar to our Padangusthasana, our wind pose, right? The knee is sort of in towards the chest, the navel is moving back, the tailbone is heavy. And then you see, could you extend the leg forward, sucking that upper arm into the shoulder socket? Remember that movement of the knee going up and back, right? Outer hip moves in on that right side. Yes, breathing, breathing. Good job. Soften the jaw, lift up through the crown of the head. Hold it for another moment. And then exhale, bend the knee, release the foot from the strap. Take a little walk. Take a little walk to integrate. Roll the shoulders. Forward, up, back, and down. Notice how much tension we carry up there. And then let's work like this. So I'm going to take my chair diagonally away. And how far it needs to be remains to be seen, and we can always move our bodies around. So I've got it kind of diagonally, and then just like, because we're going into the lateral version, so just like we did with the straight ahead version, I'm going to take myself next to my chair. I'm going to pick up my right leg and put my right foot out to the side, right? So I've got to find the angle I need to be from the chair that's the appropriate angle for my hip. It's not straight out to the side, it's in front, right? And so I bring my right foot to the chair or the block. I'm trying to keep that right hip moving down, and then the outer left leg needs to move in. Right, so notice the tendency is to kind of push that right, or rather left hip out to the side, suck in from the greater trochanter, lifting up, up, up. Nice. And then depending on your body, you might have to come down, move yourself a little away from the chair, or for those of you that can, the foot goes to the back of the chair. And it's okay if you've got the foot on the back of the chair and you're sucking in from the outer hip, if the front legs lift off the floor, that's okay, but you can also adjust if that feels precarious. And then we're taking the strap around the foot. I've got it just in the right hand, so right foot, right hand to left hip. I'm pushing in from that outer left hip, shoulder blades down the back, breathing here, reaching through the crown of the head. Big toe ball mound, outer heel pressing, navel back, 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 back. Nice, and then to come out, I come underneath the thigh, help the leg out, and then we move our chair over to the second side. Standing off the coast, we're figuring it out. Foot on block, foot on seat of chair. This is where we prepare, right? This is where we start to feel everything in the body. Greater trochanter moving in, tailbone heavy, navel back, shoulder blades back. Yes. Then, if we're using the seat of the chair, we might have to take a step to the side so that we can bring the heel onto the block or the chair. If we're using the back of the chair, we might not have to go anywhere to get that foot up. And then strap around the foot, just in the left hand. We're sucking the arm bone into the shoulder socket. We're pressing in from the greater trochanter. We're drawing the thigh bone into the hip. And then tailbone is heavy, crown of head light, right hand on right hip. You've got it. Relax the jaw. Soften the eyes. Beautiful. Such good poses. All right. To come out, we let go of the strap. We come underneath the thigh. We help the leg down. Now, you're welcome to repeat that or use the chair for support or get rid of it entirely. You know where we're going. So I'm going to stand in the flat part of my room because one part of my room is very slanty. You kind of see it today. All right. We've got our loop still in the strap. We're going to hold it in our right hand. Hands come to the hips. Take a moment to find Tadasana. Look down at your feet. Are the second metatarsals parallel? Then big toe ball mound, outer heel, reaching through the crown of the head. Got the strap in that right hand, navel to spine. I start to put the weight in that left foot, lifting the right foot off the floor. I scoop up the leg. Listen carefully. We're going to extend the leg forward. Then we're going to go to the side. It's a slow motion experiment. I have to really be intent in that outer left thigh. Let's extend the left arm out to the left for balance. Big toe ball mound, outer heel. Breathing here. Nice. Soften the jaw. And then let's come back up. Arm goes towards the sky, foot comes forward. Hopefully you stay a little more balanced than I just did. And then exhale, release. Come on down. Let's do the last side. You're on your last leg, my friend. So now the right foot is our standing foot. We've got the strap in the left arm. We're going to peel the left foot off the floor and put the foot in the strap. Keep the knee bent for now. And then let's work this way. Let's extend the right arm towards the sky as we extend the left leg forward. Suck the thigh bone into the hip socket. Draw in from the outer right thigh. Take an inhale here. And then as we exhale, slowly bring that left leg out to the left as you lower the right arm to shoulder height. Can you draw that left upper arm into the shoulder socket? Can you relax the throat and jaw? And can you use the abdominal muscles, lifting them up and back? Nice. Right thigh goes back, back, back towards the wall behind you. Then inhale to come back to neutral. Exhale, bend the knee. Release the foot to the floor. Give yourself a little applause. Wonderfully done. Let's take our blocks now in front of us. Prasarita Padottanasana. I take my blocks to the floor. I walk my feet wide. So now we're on the long edge of the mat, taking something symmetrical, balancing ourselves out. Right? So the backs of the heels lined up perfectly with the back of the mat. Big toes move slightly towards each other. Suck the kneecaps up onto the thighs. And then go ahead, walk the blocks forward. Give yourself that opportunity. Heart melts towards the floor and pressing firmly through the palms of the hands. Inner thighs spiraling towards the wall behind you. Upper thighs moving back, back, back.
hollowing out the armpits. And then walking the blocks back. Let's set up the platform for the crown of the head. Head resting on something. Palms of the hands on the floor. Eventually they come between the feet, shoulders distance apart. And then you're lifting the shoulders away from the back of the neck. It's like you're trying to slide your shoulder blades into your back pockets like you had them. You're excavating the back of the neck. Right? Super important to get that spaciousness there. Are you still engaging through the legs? Suck those kneecaps up, roll the inner thighs. Even here, we're finding that engagement. Big toe ball mound, outer heel. And then hands underneath the shoulders. Lengthen the arms. Let's heel toe the feet in so we can carefully, gently lower ourselves down, coming onto the back body. We've got our blocks nearby. Let's take the second half of our inversion. Torso comes down. Press the feet, lift the hips, slide the blocker blocks underneath the pelvis. Right? Maybe you've got two flat blocks on top of each other today. Then I press the elbows down to dome the chest. Exhaling, both knees in. Inhaling, both feet up. Find the legs directly over the pelvis. Looking for that perfect perpendicularity. Rolling outer upper arms down. Don't lose the doming of the chest. Breathing here. Another 30 seconds. Just staying with it. Oh, sorry, honey. And then exhale, bending the knees. Inhale, placing the feet on the floor. Let's lift the pelvis, take out one block. So now everyone just has one flat block underneath the pelvis. Then we'll extend the legs, backs of the heels on the floor, roll the big toes towards each other, refresh the press of the elbows. It's almost like I'm trying to slide the heel bones away from me, getting nice and long along the frontal plane of the body. Pressing the elbows, back of the neck is long. And then walking the feet in, press the feet, lift the hips, take that block out from underneath you, roll down one vertebra at a time, and then exhale the knees into the chest, a little rocking from side to side. And then hands on the bent knees, steering the knees around in a circle a couple of times in one direction, a couple of times in the other. And then here we are, ready for Shavasana. I've got my flat blocks to go underneath my upper thighs. If I want, I'm going to grab my blanket off my chair if it's still there for my head. All right, setting ourselves up nicely. Arms are a comfortable distance to the body. Let's open the mouths and stick the tongue out. Stretch the throat, stretch the jaw, stretch, stretch, stretch. And then drawing the tongue back into the mouth, letting just the lips come back to touch. And then let go of yourself completely. Let loose yourself completely. Let yourself rest here in stillness and silence, knowing now there's nothing to do.
Now there's nothing to do, my friend. Let yourself rest here. Now, as always, if you need to remain in Shavasana for longer, please feel free to do it. Others, if you're feeling time bound or if you're just ready to move, I want you to start by deepening the breath. Deepening the breath, coming back to the surface of the body. Begin to bring movements back to the fingers, to the toes, to the ankles, to the wrists. And then when you feel ready, gather the knees into your chest and give yourself a hug. Give yourself a squeeze, as if you were hugging your very best friend. And then very slowly, very mindfully, let's roll to our right side, pausing there for the moment on the right side, feeling the earth beneath you. And then we're going to use our hands to help us up. The head's going to be the last thing to arrive. The eyes remain closed if they can, pushing the floor away to come up to seated, tailbone descending, base of skull ascending. Bring the hands together in front of the heart, lift the sternum, broaden the collarbones, and on an exhalation, take the chin forward, take the chin down. You're bowing to the seat of the soul, bowing to that divine inner wellspring, kindness, compassion, patience, and joy. The light in me is deeply honored by your light, grateful for your practice, and humbled by your presence. And in case no one tells you today, I love you. And I'm convinced of your capacity, your ability to continue crafting a life worth living. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Really good